The morning sun painted the airport in brilliant shades of gold as hundreds of passengers hurried across the massive terminal, believing every aircraft waiting outside represented another ordinary day of travel. None of them knew that before sunset, one powerful decision would shake an entire aviation empire. One respected safety inspector would lose his job, one billionaire CEO would celebrate too early, and within hours every private jet belonging to her company would be grounded by federal authorities. It was a story that proved titles and wealth could never outrank honesty, and that one father's integrity could protect thousands of innocent lives. Nathan Mercer had never imagined that becoming a single father would also make him one of the strongest men in the aviation industry. 5 years earlier, after losing his wife to a sudden illness, every dream he once had seemed to disappear beneath hospital bills, sleepless nights, and the responsibility of raising his 8-year-old son, Owen. Every morning began before sunrise. He prepared breakfast, packed school lunches, drove Owen to school, and then reported to the airport wearing the blue badge of an FAA-certified aircraft inspector. His life was simple, exhausting, and often lonely, yet he carried himself with quiet dignity because he believed every airplane he inspected carried someone's family, someone's child, and someone's future. Nathan had earned a reputation that many executives disliked. He refused gifts, ignored political pressure, and signed safety reports only after every requirement had been satisfied. Mechanics respected him because he understood airplanes better than most engineers. Pilots trusted him because they knew he never compromised. Corporate executives, however, often viewed him as an obstacle standing between them and larger profits. That reputation eventually placed him in direct conflict with Celeste Harrow, the glamorous CEO of Skylux Executive Aviation, one of the country's fastest-growing luxury charter companies. Her jets carried celebrities, politicians, athletes, and billionaires across the world. Business magazines praised her as a fearless entrepreneur whose confidence bordered on perfection. Investors admired her aggressive expansion strategy. Few people noticed that rapid growth sometimes left very little room for patience or proper maintenance. Nathan's latest inspection focused on Skylux's newest fleet of long-range business jets. During several daytime inspections, he discovered maintenance records that failed to match physical repairs. Tiny cracks appeared near structural components that required immediate attention. Replacement parts listed in official documents could not be verified. Emergency equipment inspections had been signed before the work had actually been completed. None of the problems alone guaranteed disaster, but together they painted a dangerous picture that Nathan could not ignore. Instead of approving the aircraft, he documented every concern with photographs, measurements, maintenance references, and regulatory citations. He knew delaying several luxury flights would cost Skylux millions of dollars. He also knew approving unsafe aircraft could cost innocent passengers their lives. When Nathan presented his findings during a corporate meeting held inside Skylux's dazzling glass headquarters, the atmosphere quickly changed. Executives who had entered smiling slowly became impatient. Financial officers spoke about deadlines, international contracts, and unhappy investors. Marketing managers warned about damaged public image. Nathan quietly continued explaining each safety concern, refusing to soften a single word. The meeting ended with an announcement that stunned everyone. Celeste declared Nathan removed from all Skylux inspection responsibilities and ordered security to escort him from the building. Although she could not legally dismiss him from federal service, she publicly accused him of incompetence and claimed his unnecessary delays threatened hundreds of employee jobs. Cameras captured the moment as Nathan walked out carrying nothing except his inspection folder and his worn leather briefcase. News spread rapidly across social media. Headlines portrayed the wealthy CEO as a decisive leader protecting her business from an unreasonable inspector. Thousands of online comments mocked Nathan without understanding the evidence he carried. Friends urged him to defend himself publicly, but he remained silent. His responsibility had never been winning arguments. His responsibility had always been protecting lives. That evening Nathan returned home, helped Owen finish homework, cooked a simple dinner, and smiled despite the heavy disappointment weighing on his heart. Owen noticed his father's unusual silence and quietly placed one handwritten note beside his dinner plate. It simply read, "You always tell me that doing the right thing matters even when nobody claps." Nathan folded the paper carefully and slipped it into his wallet. It became the strongest encouragement he received that entire week. Meanwhile, Skylux executives celebrated the announcement. Flights resumed. Investors praised Celeste's confidence. Luxury clients applauded her ability to overcome delays. For a brief moment it appeared that money and influence had defeated integrity. What nobody inside the company realized was that Nathan had already submitted every inspection report through official FAA reporting channels before attending the meeting. Federal investigators received hundreds of pages documenting maintenance inconsistencies, incomplete repairs, technician interviews, inspection photographs, and electronic maintenance records that contradicted company reports. The evidence required immediate review under federal aviation regulations. 3 days later, during another bright morning, FAA investigators arrived without warning. Teams spread across multiple hangars simultaneously. Aircraft logbooks were seized. Maintenance computers were examined. Engineers answered detailed questions while mechanics repeated procedures in front of investigators. Pilots waited nervously beside grounded aircraft as each discovery confirmed Nathan's original findings. By late afternoon the investigation expanded beyond routine paperwork. Additional undocumented maintenance shortcuts surfaced. Several outsourced contractors admitted they had been pressured to sign work before inspections finished. Electronic timestamps revealed records modified after maintenance had supposedly been completed. The deeper investigators looked, the more disturbing the situation became. Then came the announcement that transformed the entire industry. Every Skylux aircraft under investigation would remain grounded until full compliance could be verified. Flights were cancelled nationwide. Airports filled with stranded passengers. Television helicopters circled company headquarters. Financial markets reacted immediately. Billions of dollars vanished from company valuation within hours. For the first time in years, Celeste Harrow found herself standing before cameras without prepared answers. Reporters asked why an inspector she publicly criticized had documented nearly every violation investigators discovered. Investors demanded explanations. Clients canceled contracts. Employees worried about their future. Nathan, however, spent that same afternoon attending Owen's school science fair. He admired homemade volcanoes, cardboard rockets, and simple experiments while trying to ignore constant news notifications vibrating inside his pocket. Owen proudly introduced his father as the bravest person I know. Nathan smiled because those words mattered far more than television interviews. As federal investigations continued, aviation experts praised the inspection process that prevented potentially dangerous aircraft from continuing commercial operations. Independent engineers confirmed that although no accident had yet occurred, several unresolved maintenance issues could eventually have created catastrophic risks under extreme operating conditions. Nathan's refusal to compromise had likely protected countless families from unimaginable tragedy. Public opinion slowly shifted. Journalists began uncovering Nathan's background. They learned about the widowed father who worked overtime to afford piano lessons for his son. They discovered colleagues who described him as impossibly honest. Former supervisors recalled decades of flawless inspections and unwavering professionalism. The man once mocked online became a symbol of integrity. Weeks later Congress invited aviation safety officials to discuss stronger oversight policies. Nathan never sought attention, yet his reports became examples used during national discussions about accountability. Young inspectors entering the profession studied his documentation techniques because every observation had been supported by undeniable evidence rather than emotion. Celeste also changed during those difficult months. Watching thousands of employees suffer because leadership had prioritized speed over safety forced her to confront painful truths. She realized that success built on shortcuts eventually collapses beneath its own weight. Pride had blinded her to warnings she should have welcomed instead of silencing. After Skylux completed every required repair, replaced senior maintenance leadership, introduced independent oversight, and cooperated fully with regulators, operations gradually resumed. The company survived, though forever changed. Its advertisements no longer emphasized luxury alone. Safety became the foundation of every message. Nathan never asked for revenge, compensation, or recognition. He simply continued performing inspections with the same careful attention he had always shown. Every airplane remained, in his eyes, a promise entrusted to his signature. Years later, passengers boarding Skylux aircraft would never know that a quiet single father had once refused to betray his principles. Children laughed while fastening seat belts. Parents relaxed beside windows watching daylight shimmer across the runway. Pilots confidently advanced the throttles knowing every inspection had been completed honestly. Those ordinary moments existed because one man understood that true courage often appears not through dramatic speeches, but through quiet decisions repeated day after day. If this story reminded you that integrity is never wasted and that doing the right thing can protect lives even when no one is watching, thank you for spending these moments with us. Stories like this continue because people believe character still matters in today's world. Before we reach the end, share in the comments one quality you believe every true leader should possess. Sometimes the greatest victories are invisible. They are measured not by applause, promotions, or wealth, but by the lives that remain safe because someone refused to compromise. Nathan Mercer never became famous for seeking attention. He became unforgettable because he chose responsibility over comfort, truth over pressure, and love for his son over fear of losing everything. In the end, integrity accomplished what power never could, and that is a legacy no amount of money can ever buy.